UFOs are real, burgeoning, and not going away. This is the coming great deception. But when we go up, they come down. When we go up, they show up. I'm your intrepid host, L.A. Marzulli, a very, very, very special presentation on the rungs of a ladder of disclosure. So this is a PowerPoint presentation. I think you'll find it interesting. But first, a word from our trusted sponsor. It turns out the key to losing weight and keeping it off is not in carbs or fat or even in probiotic-rich foods. Nope. The end game of having a healthy weight, as well as more energy and a long, healthy life, comes down to a specific switch you can flip in your body to flush out unnecessary calories. Dr. Stephen Gundry is calling this caloric bypass. And by activating this specific process in your body, he has seen thousands, that's right, thousands of people dramatically improve their health, even at age 50 and beyond. This includes losing weight, getting tons more energy, and returning to the good health they had in their youth once they simply addressed this one key to better health. Not only that, this is actually associated with improved digestion, strong feeling joints and muscles, smoother skin, and healthier lives, meaning it could be the key to a happy life. Dr. Stephen Gundry has lost 70 pounds himself using his research and has kept the weight off for over 20 years and counting. His digestive issues are gone, his health is fantastic, and he feels younger and healthier today than he did in his 40s. His video has been watched by over 20 million people to date, and you can watch and learn more about it. And here's the link, folks, thehealthyfat.com/LA, thehealthyfat.com/LA. It's linked at the bottom of this video, but it'll teach you exactly how he has kept his weight off for free at thehealthyfat.com/LA. Folks, click on the link, and again, results may vary. I'm taking the vitamins that he's given me, and so far it's been good. And these are the claims of our sponsor, not necessarily those of Spiral of Life or L.A. Marzulli. So the whole purpose of this, of the book, Rungs of Disclosure, it didn't start out as a book, but after like 2 or 3, and you'll see what I'm talking about, 2 or 3 announcements that happened on Tucker Carlson's show, I said, this is it. These are the rungs on the ladder of disclosure. We are going up rung by rung by rung. We're climbing a ladder to, what's the last rung? Full disclosure of the so-called extraterrestrial presence. So the very first rung on the ladder is something not from this earth. This is 2017. It's like 8 years ago. Think about that. 8 years ago. And we are on the 19th rung now, but I digress. So Tucker Carlson says he's interviewing Commander David Fravor, and what you see in that interview is Commander David Fravor says, this tic-tac shaped object, which I looked at, photographed, and it was in his, on the FLIR camera and his gun sights, the whole deal, and was something not from this earth. This guy, Commander David Fravor, is the best of the best of the best. Someday I hope to meet him. I would love to interview him because, he's the first rung on the ladder of disclosure. Commander David Fravor, if you're watching this, you're more than welcome to come on and share your testimony and your story again. It's riveting. It's riveting. And when you talk about this object moving away from you 50 miles in 2 seconds like a bullet out of a gun. So that 2017 actually was the nexus, the impetus for me publishing UFO Disclosure, the 70-year cover-up exposed. And you can, that's the very first film in the UFO series. It's also the book. So you can see I was on this like white on rice 8 years ago. But since then, this book came out last October. I want to thank all the folks at Charisma Media. Did a great job. But UFO Disclosure, the 70-year cover-up exposed, this also became the very first film in our 10-box UFO DVD set. There it is, where we talk about close encounters of the first, second, third, and fourth kind, abductions. The whole thing is in there. But that led to the other 9 episodes in that 10-box DVD set. There's Commander David Fravor on the right, Tucker Carlson. And you can see Tucker, when he started this, he said, UFOs are the stuff of conspiracy theory and tinfoil hat wearing people, but maybe we shouldn't think that anymore. Commander David Fravor joins us tonight, former F-18 pilot who had an encounter with a tic-tac shaped UFO over the Pacific Ocean. That's how we introduced. I fell out of my chair, and that led to everything that we're doing now, which, folks, when you really think about it, it's It's just incredible. Pentagon formally releases 3 Navy videos showing unidentified aerial phenomena. And this was in tandem with Commander David Fravor coming on Tucker Carlson. So all these things tag team together, if you please. So the second rung on the ladder of disclosure. This is Luis Elizondo. UFO mental mystery. Material allegedly stored by Pentagon is not from this Earth. Substances allegedly recovered from a UFO were found to be made of materials not from this Earth. It has staggeringly been claimed. A top UFO expert told Express the Express paper in the UK, he has been assured that the material has been tested and has been found to have inexplicable properties. I want to show you guys something. In our film our 2 films on Roswell, which are in the 10-box DVD set, we found a piece of metal. We went to the debris field outside of Roswell, and we found 2 pieces of metal. We want to thank Chuck Sikowski and Frank Kibler, our host, who took us to the debris field, especially Frank Kibler. It's all on camera. We had all sorts of strange stuff happen there. But Luis Elizondo is saying that material not from the Earth. Who are you going to believe? And this is way that, look at this. This is 2018. So right here, Commander David Fravor, that's December of 2017. And then this article is February 22nd, 2018. That is the second rung on the ladder of disclosure. And of course, what ties into that is, there it is right there, revisiting Roswell, evidence from a debris field. That's my hand, and in the palm of my hand is that piece of metal that was down about 6 inches that Frank Kimbler dug out. We had a hit on his metal detector. We came running over. It's all in the film. It's all in the film. And episode 7, part 2 of the 10-box DVD set. You can go to streaming.lamarzulli.net. This is why it's so important to get this information. So important. And this is why we created the films. I want to thank once again my good friend and business partner, Gil Zimmerman. But there you go, revisiting Roswell. So UFO group could have physical proof of existence. That's Luis Elizondo on the Tucker Carlson, which is incredible that both Commander David Fravor and now Luis Elizondo appeared on Tucker Carlson. Mr. Elizondo is military all the way. He's a real stand-up guy. He's a true patriot. And we hope to get him at some point, maybe in February. We'll see what happens on our show here. This is Nick Pope, who we interviewed. That's right. Nick Pope comes in on 9 and 10 of a 10-box set. I did at least a 40-minute interview with Mr. Pope. Fantastic. We crossed swords, but in a very nice way. He's a great guy. I respect him, highly respect him. I don't agree with his conclusions, but I certainly respect his research. So Nick Pope says Pentagon does have mystery metals that came from UFOs, says former government insider. Again, this is January 2018. The U.S. government has stored away mystery metal thought to have come from UFOs that were visiting Earth, according to a former British Ministry of Defense insider. And of course, once again, unidentified aerial phenomena, the experts, witnesses weigh in. I sat down, and this is in the book, this is one of our rungs, with Francisco Carrera and Preston Dennett, and discussed UFOs. These guys are ufologists like me. They've been in it forever. Francisco Carrera is the head of Exopolitics Portugal. Mr. Preston Dennett has written numerous books on the phenomenon. I've seen his library. It's in the film. He's got every book on UFOs ever written. Not quite, because it would fill up the room, but he's got hundreds and hundreds of books. So like me, before my library burned, any book that came out, I would immediately get it, read it, underline it, dog-ear it, make notes at the back of the book, but all that's gone in the fire. But what jibes with this, Pentagon does have mystery metal, is UFO disclosure part 2, unidentified aerial phenomena. The expert witnesses weigh in. Number 3, once again on Tucker Carlson, and we get Christopher Mellon, former senior intelligence officer, UFO mysteries, 70 years of secrecy, and he talks about the metal that has isotopic ratios that don't jibe with anything on this Earth. Tucker expects to discuss at people who care more about the fly that landed on Mike Pence's head than they care about a UFO documentary. And I absolutely concur that everything is, and this goes back, look at the date, this is the 2020 election. October 9th, when Pence is talking, a fly lands on his head, and more people, oh, my, look at the fly, oh. It's Britain circus. Shut up and understand that this is the most important moment of time in all of history when they show up. These are not extraterrestrials. These are not our space brothers. If they were, why not give us the cure to cancer, for crying out loud? But that's what never happens. People are taken, they are abused, they are abducted. Karen Wilkinson's book, we are proud to publish. It's right out of the Genesis 3:15 narrative. It ties into Daniel 2:43. Their seed will mingle with the seed of men. There it is. Whoa, their seed. Who are they? Their seed will mingle with the seed of men, but they will not cleave to them. Her book is the tip of the spear. Thank you, Karen, for having the courage and boldness to come on the record, and thank you for allowing us to publish it. So, Christopher Mellon talking about isotopic ratios that don't match anything on the planet. Tucker Bond. Pentagon set to release classified UFO findings, off-world vehicles not made of this Earth. Again, this is 2020. Pentagon's UFO unit to release some findings, and it goes on from there. Leaked reports for Pentagon UFO Task Force discuss non-human technology. It's all there. It's all there. And it's leaching out slowly, isn't it? It's a controlled narrative, isn't it, in my opinion? Very, very controlled. Let's continue. Preliminary assessment of unidentified aerial phenomena. This was a government 9-page report. This is rung number 5. We're going up the ladder of disclosure. There it is right there. You really need to get the book, folks. But so 9 pages. And what did they say? No, it was a big nothing burger. I mean, I read all 9 pages in one sitting, obviously. It's a 5 to 10 minute read. And nothing new. Oh, out of the 243 or whatever it was sightings, we only could identify one as being a weather balloon or whatever it was. So the rest of them unidentified. Why do you care? Because this is the coming great deception. When they show up, it changes everything. And I'll get to that towards the end. Number 6, NASA is hiring priests to prepare humans for contact with aliens. Why is this even there? Why create this headline like this? And why not evangelicals? Why priests? Why not call someone like me? I'm a pastor. You know, I've written books and created all of these films and everything else, along with my business partner, Bill Zimmerman. I mean, I do respect, priests and what they do. That's fine. But you need some evangelicals in there who understand the biblical prophetic narrative and how what we're seeing dovetails into the biblical prophetic narrative. Jesus warns us to be like the days of Noah when he returns, right? What differentiates the days of Noah? Fallen angels. What are they doing? Missing their seed. There it is. Once again, stolen seed. There it is. Daniel 2:43. It's imperative that you memorize that and understand we are living in the days where all this is happening. And of course, the idea that prepare humans for contact with aliens, we get right into the whole UFO abduction. It's number 4 in our film. Very, very unnerving film. We sat down with 4 people. All of them were abducted. 2 men, 2 women. Al Matthews, abducted at a very early age. Emil Jurg, same thing, abducted, 4 or 5 years old. They locked him in his room. He was here in the studio. They would lock me in my room at night, put locks on the windows, locks on the doors so I couldn't get out. Next morning, they'd find me out of the front lawn. Then he looks at the camera and goes, explain that to me. Yeah, explain that. Because these entities manipulate space, time, matter, and energy, a way that defies our physics. So the abduction phenomena, exposing the dragon's dark secret, this all ties back into the mixing of the seed, Genesis 3:15, but leap forward to Daniel 2:43, that's what we're looking at. This is Brett Baer. This is the most stand-up guy on the planet, for crying out loud. Mr. Conservative. Brett Baer runs Bizarre Report, suggesting link between UFOs and unexplained pregnancies. Once again, I got to hold Karen's book up because it's applicable. She was taken. She was impregnated by them. They took 3 of her babies. And we talk about this. The 7th rung on the ladder of disclosure. Are you kidding me? And I'll get into this with the cattle mutilations in a little bit. You'll see what I'm talking about. This is Brett Baer. This is Fox News. And it's real. And if you don't understand the biblical narrative, when you see that headline, there's nothing in your grid system to prepare you for it. There's nothing you could say, well, what does this have to do with Jesus and his second coming? It has everything to do with Jesus and the second coming. This is the days of Noah. This is the mingling of the seed. Let's continue. And there's Karen's book, Stolen Seed, Evil Harvest. I can't stress it enough. Can't stress it enough. Now, number 8. Tucker Carlson hosts 2 butchers who believe aliens landing in UFOs are mutilating cattle. Thank you for the reality check. This is 2022. We're moving up the rungs of disclosure. And there it is. And we did a film on cattle mutilations. There it is right there. It's number 6. It's the darkest film I have ever worked on in my entire life. No, I do not want to go back and revisit it. I watched it over and over and over again. We had high raises here in the studio, like you wouldn't believe, when Gil and I are trying to edit this thing. The entire timeline, the entire 1 hour and 10, 15 minute timeline just vanished. We came down, we figured, oh, I'm an easy day today. We came down or came into the studio and doggone, it's like we had to recreate the whole film step by step by step from all sorts of backups. It was unbelievable. You think that's spiritual warfare? You bet your boots it is. Calling Cards of Darkness, absolutely the most darkest film I've ever worked on. And I'll tell you something. Bovine blood can be used interchangeably in a human transfusion. Most people don't know that. Cow blood can be used in a transfusion with human beings. When they take the baby, when a woman is impregnated, like Karen, let me go back here, like Karen, Stolen Seed, Evil Harvest, when they come and they reabduct her in the 3rd month of her pregnancy, and they take that child from her, that child, that entity, that hybrid entity, which I believe is a modern-day Nephilim, cannot survive outside the womb. It needs another womb to go into. Enter the cattle mutilations. What they are creating are artificial wombs. Absolutely no doubt, in my opinion. Absolutely no doubt. And there it is, cattle mutilations, Tucker Carlson also. Then we've got... and it's also in Close Encounters Part 3, coming face to face with the so-called extraterrestrial presence. The 9th round, Take Me to Your Leaders. Congress holds first public hearing on UFOs in 50 years. So, and then they always say pro-possible national security threat. So that's the way they couch it. But the phenomenon is real, is burgeoning, and it's not going away until we get full disclosure. Does any agency know what's really going on? Is there any accountability? I mean, is there any accountability? This is why when Nancy Mace stands up or is asking David Grush, who do I go to? What contractor? Where do I go? Who do we find out? Who's running the show here? Why is it that no president, to the best of my knowledge, has ever been in Area 51? Hopefully that will change under Trump. There's Gary Nolan. Number 10, this is is it UFOs or whatever? People who get in close proximity of UFOs, all sorts of have brain injuries, and we see that. Karen Wilkinson has injuries to her, and other UFO abductees have injuries. Folks, is it radiation? We don't know what it is. But this is what Gary Nolan, once again, on Fox Nation. You can see it with Tucker Carlson. Then we get the 11th run of disclosure. The 15th of September. Alien Abductions by Abby Hornacek, who hosts the show. You can see her, pretty gal, and behind her is what I would call a gray. I believe that the grays are biological suits. They are avatars to hold the demon. That's my opinion. That's based on decades of research. Others disagree. That's fine. We don't know for sure, but Karen Wilkinson, once again, she sides with me on this, and I'm going with Karen. So, Part 4, UFO abductions. There it is, exposing the dragon's dark secret. So you can see that with the rungs of disclosure, it coalesces, it coincides with our $10 DVD set. And UFO Files, once again, Tucker Carlson. The 12th rung, do you speak extraterrestrial? Scientists say Earth needs to prepare for an alien encounter now before it's too late. Well, my question is, who are these scientists and how do we prepare for an alien encounter? Sit up on top of a building and hold signs like Independence Day did? Welcome aliens. Seriously? Look, folks, when they show up, everything changes, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit. The 13th rung on the ladder of disclosure. This is Robert Salas. We actually broke the story with Bob Salas, Robert Salas, in our Watchers series. We were the first people to interview Robert Salas, and it's in our Watchers series. So you can see once again that that interview, by the way, is not only in our Watchers, but I used a clip of it, and it's in our 10-box set. And he watched this UFO appear over the Malmstrom Air Force Base, and it shut off all 10 intercontinental ballistic missiles. How does it do that? How? Because these entities can manipulate space, time, matter, energy in ways that completely defy our physics here. Moving right along, the 14th rung on the ladder of disclosure. Pentagon reveals mysterious flying orb during UFO Senate hearing as 650 unknown objects are tracked. And you can see the orb right there on the right of your screen. Just how is this devastating? Because we can't stop them from manifesting. So this is why it's, this is devastating. And what I think some of the insiders know what's going on, know that this is not extraterrestrial, but interdimensional. I'm going to tell you a quick story. There's a guy that's chained to a prison and to a prison wall. He's fettered to the prison wall. All of a sudden, an entity comes into that jail cell. The chain drops off. Get your things. The man isn't sure he's awake or asleep or dreaming. All of a sudden, let's go. And the prison door opens by itself. They walk outside. All the guards are asleep. And then they go to the prison door. That opens up. Then they're outside in the courtyard, and the big prison door opens up by itself. They walk a little bit, and the entity vanishes. The man's free. What does that sound like to you? That's in our Bibles. That's Peter's jailbreak. The angels, the good ones and the fallen ones, can manipulate space, time, matter, and energy in a way that defies our physics. And that's what we're looking at in all of this. 15th run of a disclosure ladder was in July. Intelligence officials say U.S. has retrieved craft of non-human origin. And that's, of course, as David Grush, whistleblower, alleges secret UFO retrieval program. Representative Tim Burkett on government UFO evidence. I believe they have a recovered craft. Folks, they have multiple crafts. Watch the Bob Lazar tape. Witness tells Congress non-human biologics were found at alleged UFO crash site. This is David Grush. He's not lying. He absolutely is not lying. This is the exchange between Nancy Mace. She's an incredible representative, House of Representatives from the state of South Carolina. And let's watch what she says.
Intelligent extraterrestrials.
Something I can't discuss in public setting.
Okay, I can't ask when you think this occurred. If you believe we have crashed craft, as stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
As I've stated publicly already in my news station review, biologics came with some of these recoveries. Yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics? So.
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
So there you go. What do you do with a statement like that? When Nancy Mace asked David Grush, do we have crash craft? Yes. Do we have the pilots? Yes. Non-human biologics. What do you do with that? This is why Rungs disclosure and the 10-box TV set, it's absolutely imperative. Arm yourself. Wake up and arm yourself. It's that important. Invite a bunch of people over and show the DVDs. Get 2 or 3 books, give them out to your pastor, your best friend, your family. So the Pentagon, this is pushback, in my opinion, finds no evidence of alien technology. Well, that goes against everything that everybody's been saying. How can he state this? Because he's telling the truth as he knows it. Because the information is compartmentalized. Who is in control? Certainly not the American people. By the people, for the people, not happening. He doesn't know because he's not told. And this is why he can stand there and tell, we have no evidence, because he hasn't seen the evidence. The evidence is there. That's why our films on Roswell, these are in the 10-box set. I mean, they're so telling. We actually got to the debris field. We were in Hangar 84 where the wreckage was. We've got the deathbed affidavit from Walter G. Haught, who basically said he ushered in the Hangar 84. He saw the saucer. He saw the bodies. I mean, it's a deathbed confession. How many deathbed confessions do we have to have? They're all in the film, by the way, and some of them are in the book, before we start realizing that, wait a minute, the American people are not being told the truth. Number 18, UFOs with demonic aliens visiting from other dimensions and latest theory. With talk of parallel dimensions and visions of doom in people's minds, UFOs have taken a turn for the traditionally evil. So it's always spun, it's just like the guy who writes this, and I don't know who wrote it, doesn't matter. Does he know anything about the biblical prophetic narrative? More than likely not. Does he know anything about the reality of the supernatural world which is all around us? More than likely not. And this is why, it's always this kind of, visions of doom. No, you don't understand. Jesus is coming back. That's not doom. Yeah, you're going to go through the tribulation if you don't know him. And if you think you know him, but you don't know him personally, then you don't know him. How do you know him? Ask him into your heart. Just say, hey, I'm a sinner. I've done stuff in my life. Sin has left a crimson stain. He'll wash it white as snow for you. Come to him. He's the Prince of Peace. He's the Prince of Peace. Come to him. Just ask him in your heart. Your life will never be the same. It happened to me 45 years ago this coming June. And I can't even believe it. Okay. I am the Sky Lawmakers pushed by the administration for data on
Their
their
show or on a chat program reports tonight on the latest briefing for lawmakers today. They're still law once again.
I just wasted time. There's a concerted effort to conceal as much information as possible.
Bipartisan frustration over what lawmakers say could be a government cover-up about UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomenon. House Oversight Committee members hoped Intelligence Community Inspector General Thomas Monheim could explain the unexplainable at a classified briefing. The lawmakers say they are hearing from the people who really know what's out there.
They send us bureaucrats who don't know on purpose.
Others disagreed about the briefing. This one actually moved the needle. Moskowitz says lawmakers learned more this time about claims made at a hearing last year by UAP whistleblower and former Air Force intelligence officer David Grush. Grush contends the government's hiding spacecraft from someplace else and non-human remains. Lawmakers are trying to dissect Grush's allegations.
Brush never said extraterrestrial or alien, who said interdimensional.
Or said interdimensional, and they note. But is this something that bends time and space?
He said interdimensional. He refused to use certain terms.
Well, stop you right there. She, I would love to interview her, Anna Paulina Luna. She knows about the interdimensional hypothesis. And that's what I think, you guys know where I stand. These are not extraterrestrials, they're interdimensional. So at least people were talking about it. Number 19th, UFO whistleblower says he's being threatened, that's Luis Salazar, as Congressman Warren's protections are a joke. So the 20th rung cemented the foundation. This is Congress 11/13/2024. The House Oversight Committee holds hearing on unidentified anomalous phenomena.
Thank you. I will now recognize Ms. Luna for 5 minutes of questioning. Mr. Elizondo, to your knowledge, can you name the country and around time frame that the first back engineered UAP program started?
Ma'am, unfortunately, I would not be able to have that conversation in public.
Can anyone on the panel name that?
I cannot.
None of you? Okay. This next question is for Mr. Gallaudet. To your knowledge, have any USOs ever outpaced our submarines?
Yes, ma'am.
At what magnitude?
I don't have the exact speed, but again, a witness came to me, a credible former submarine officer who observed it on sonar data. And this was in the 80s in the North Atlantic during a storm, and it outpaced his submarine by orders of magnitude.
Are you aware of any hotspots that currently exist off our shores in North America?
Not with sufficiently credible data, ma'am.
I would differ with that because I believe that they know that a hot spot is right out here. When I drive down my canyon, I see the hot spot. I can see Catalina Island, give you an idea of where I live in the Santa Monica Mountains, and that deep trench is a shipping lane between Catalina and Los Angeles, between Catalina and the California mainland. We've seen, I haven't seen personally, but too many people. It's actually on one of our films talking about the UFO going out of the water, into the water, the whole 9 yards. People have seen them over and over and over again. In my opinion, it is a hot spot. Anyway, folks.
What happens in a mile-wide craft shares out in Washington?
Who's behind it? Well, at some level, the government, the military, and the intelligence team.
It is a front
and it's going to soon become a durable threat. It's going to require global response.
The UFO phenomenon has become the off-break.
We're going to get disclosure accidental.
An interesting time to be alive. We live in a time where literally the government told us these UFOs are real, we don't know what they are.
The question is, who are they in contact with? Are they truly extraterrestrial? Has it been visited by inhuman entities? What are your closet thoughts in regard to disco focus organ and all those off right now?
Definitely conditioning the masses or some kind of ideal of technology being visited by extraterrestrials. Look at the late night talk posts when they're talking to all the presidents, and they always bring out the question, are you going to tell us anything? Shoot look on their faces. They know something.
Folks, the phenomenon is not going away. We go up, they show up, we go up, we out. To born of what we believe is to come a deception. Anyway, folks, that's it for the slideshow there. I haven't done this in a long time, so I'm glad I was able to do it. I would admonish you to pick up the book. It's like, I think it's $21 or whatever it is at the site, lamarzulli.com, rungsofdisclosure.com. It's an interactive book. All the footnotes, all the links are hot. All the new updates are there. All the videos are there. Our 10-box DVD set. You know, it's thousands of you come here every single day, and you're welcome to come here. And I don't ask for money, and I'm not asking for money. I'm not asking for donations. I'm asking and admonishing you to either get the book or the DVD or get both of them. It's that important. It really is. It's that important because this phenomenon is it's ratcheting up to the last rung on the disclosure ladder, which is full-blown revealing of the so-called extraterrestrial presence. Arm yourself. Do your homework. Do your homework. lamarzulli.com, rungsofdisclosure.com. 10 DVD set, Rungs of Disclosure. Thanks so much for watching, folks. God bless you. Remember, UFOs are real, burgeoning, not going away. This is the coming great deception. But when we go up, they come down. When we go up, they show up. Thanks for watching.